Good day to you, Fellowship of Lovelies. This is Yvonne, for Yvonne's Love Stream Walks, walking each other home today, Friday the 23rd of January 2026. Companions on the path, and hello to you, Jeanette and Diane, the first to wish me hello. And here I am. This is Loch Linnhe, spelt L-I-N-N-H-E. Hello, Rebecca Lynn. So, behind me is Fort William. And Bonnie's just joined, and Bonnie's already told me that it's minus 26 in Milwaukee. Well, here it's not so cold, but the wind is a bit bitter. And my spiritual practice for today is that the weather is the weather. And it was just spitting with the rain a minute ago. And the mountains are not clear. And I wanted to do the walk in Glencoe, which is one of the most spectacular areas of Scotland, but it's in heavy mist. So here we are just at Loch Linnhe, and we're going to just walk across the main bypass. That's why there's so many noisy cars. So we're going to cross the bypass and head down the main street of Fort William, because it was either going to be Glencoe or Glen Nevis, but both of them are just misty and there's nothing really to see. So, oh God, feeling like minus 38 in Quebec, minus 11 in Iowa. Hello, Julie. Oh, it's so lovely to see you all. And we're all laughing about the weather, which is the only thing we can do. So this is Loch Linnhe, as I just said, spelled L-I-N-N-H-E. Hi, Susan. Welcome, welcome. And Marie. Well, not really. I mean, there is no snow. That's right. It's amazing. Now, behind me, you cannot see for buildings, is Ben Nevis. Ben Nevis is the highest mountain in the UK. It's not so high by European or American standards, or African standards, or South American standards, but it's a great hike. But it's covered in mist, and yeah, so not very photogenic at the moment. Hi, Maggie in Glasgow. Welcome to Fort William, which we're going to walk down the main street of in a minute. Hi, Trisha. Sorry about the car noise. And today we're walking with the quality of intention. Hi, Tom. So no swans today, but we're walking with the quality of intention. Now, I wonder how many of you during the week thought about that wonderful phrase, unguided impetuosity, that came up last week. Hi, Lida and Cindy. That's quite a nice shot, isn't it? With, I guess the sun is setting over there. I hope you can hear me okay with all the cars going by. Oh, 8 degrees. Well, 8 degrees, I mean, driving down here, so I'm about 2.5 hours drive from Findhorn. Yes, very happy to see you all. And I have to apologize. I did see a little bit of my glove in last week's love stream. And I did say at one point that the beautiful swans were geese. They were definitely swans. But look, this is a lovely shot, isn't it, with the sun there. So I'm looking over Loch Linnhe, and just further down the coast here, further down the loch, is the Corran Ferry. So if you've ever been from Findhorn to Iona, you've driven through Fort William, and you've gone across on the Corran Ferry to Loch Linnhe, and then across in the ferry to Mull, and then across in the ferry to Iona. So anyway, here we are. And as I said, there's no snow. There's patchy snow on the mountaintops, that's all. Patchy snow. It's really amazing. Oh, great that you can hear me perfectly. Yes, I'm sure some of you... Fort William is known as the outdoor capital of the UK, because people come here to mountain hike, to mountain bike, to kayak. Lots of climbing as well, not just hiking, climbing. There's a fantastic ridge down in Glencoe called the Anapega, which I did many years ago. It was fabulous fun. But anyway, we're going to leave the Loch shore. I'm staying in a place just along the Loch a bit further. Oh, thank you for loving my glove. Hello, Neil. Well, it is better here, but down in Glencoe, it's full mist. I was hoping to walk to the Hidden Valley tomorrow there, but I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. But anyway, welcome to you all. It's so lovely to see you. And with this angel of intention we're walking with today, hi Joan, somebody in the Rainbow Bridge last week said that actually winter for the Northern Hemisphere is not a great time to set new intentions and goals and start a new self, because we're all sort of hibernating for the winter, and maybe spring is a better time. Ah, look, the little boat's going. It's a very cute one, isn't it? Ah, similar to the Pacific coast. Yes, well, this loch, I drove down the Great Glen today. Now, you all did a little bit of, I taught you a little bit about the Caledonian Canal and how they built the canal between the 5 lochs that go down the Great Glen. And so I drove down through Drumnadrochit and Invermorriston and Fort Augustus. Yeah. Oh, look, looks like it's a little ferry boat. Anyway, I'm coming to the pedestrian crossing. You'll have to just plug your ears when I cross, because it'll be quite noisy. I've got an umbrella over my arm in case, so I don't know how I do a camera and an umbrella, but I'm so happy to see you. And yeah, wondering how you went with your unguided impetuosity during the week. And, oh, it's gone quiet, hooray. And Fort William is also a great area for history. Let me see, quick. Run. Just down, just along the road a bit, is Glenfinnan, where Bonnie Prince Charlie came and raised the standard for the Jacobite rebellion, which ended, of course, with the rather tragic Battle of Culloden. And also, Fort William is very important for long-distance walkers, because it's the beginning, or the end, whichever way you happen to do it, of the West Highland Way. So I'm going to show you actually exactly where the West Highland Way, which starts down just south of Loch Lomond, and this is where it technically finishes with this statue of a man with tired feet. Look, there you go. So he's just finished the West Highland Way, and as you can see here, it says welcome in Gaelic, Rebecca Lynn, and the end of the West Highland Way. Yeah, so, oh, look at him. Look, he's got a little smile on his face. Isn't that nice? Hi, Peter. We're in Fort William, and we just came up from the Loch side there. In Findhorn, it's very windy and rainy. Down here, it's windy, but not so rainy. Anyway, spiritual practice for today, to accept the weather. Look, isn't he cute? Look, he's got a very happy look on his face. Yes, so, okay, so Cindy, you think hibernating time is a good time to set intentions. Are we going to get a hole in one like the angel on the card? Or shall we take a more circuitous route to our goal? Anyway, I know that you all love to see what's going on in Scottish shops. So we've got all sorts of little houses here. Now we started at 4 o'clock and it is light enough. Look, lots of tartan umbrellas. There's even a big stuffed Highland cow in there. Lots of little ducks looking silly. Lots of silly stuffed Loch Ness monsters. Look, Scotland, Ben Nevis. I've got such a treat for you near the end of this walk to do with Ben Nevis. You won't actually see the mountain because, and look at look at these. I'm sure you all want one of these. Yes, Fort William, Ermgard, or did somebody ask? Anyway, so this is the main street of Fort William. Do you think it's a little bit like the main street of Forres? Lots of shops with outdoor clothes and things, and also, I mean, there's hardly anybody around at the moment, but this is called Tartan House of Arran, of the Arran Island. And look, there's all sorts of kilts and of course, guess what Sunday is? Some of you will know what Sunday is. It's Robbie Burns's birthday, and people will be having Burns suppers all over Scotland and all over the world, actually, where you eat haggis. Haggis, Kendall, everybody is filling you in on where we are. And Fort William indeed. Oh, and the lights have come on the lamppost. That's rather pretty. Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, this is really, people come here as they're stepping off point to the Highlands. They can go west to Glenfinnan and out to Mallaig. From Mallaig you can catch a ferry to the southern tip of Skye, or you can continue north to Inverness. But the mountains here are fantastic. Ben Nevis, the Mamors, the Grey Corries, and I was just in the West Highland Museum. Fantastic stories about the commandos in World War II training here. Just beyond, there's a fantastic memorial to the commandos just out, well, at Spain Bridge actually, which is not far from here. And they all trained at Achnacarry. Pretty tough stuff. I was quite close to tears reading about some of what happened after their training and where they ended up all over the world. Algeria, Burma, Sicily, and of course here's a whiskey shop. But yeah, it's quite deserted at this time of year, and especially, well, the weather's not great for hiking either. Well, there's Haggis House. That's what you should all be eating on Sunday. Yes, Ermgard, that's the other thing you can do. Thanks for reminding me. You can take the Jacobite train over the viaduct at Glenfinnan, or what Harry Potter fans would call the Hogwarts Express. I've done that. And we're coming up here. Look, you can see the greyness of the sky. And this Highland bookshop on the right here is fabulous. Oh my gosh, if you're ever in Fort William, do go to the Highland bookshop. And up at the top it's got second-hand books. We've got a church that seems to have been turned into a cafe up there. And there's the Gaelic for Bank of Scotland. But this is, yeah, a very beautiful bookshop with lots of in-depth things about Scotland. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Peggy, Fort William is at the bottom of the Great Glen. So you go south of Inverness along Loch Ness and along all the other lochs till you get to Fort William at Loch Linnhe. But look, here we are. Oh, and just interestingly, Kendall and Diane, look at the book that's in the window here. Hi, Jeanette. Yes, it's a long way from Wales. You have to go down through the southern parts of Scotland, down through England, and then take a right into Wales. Oh, and Dylan Thomas's beautiful poem. Yes, if you weren't here at the beginning, you can go back and have a look at Loch Linnhe, which is, Fort William is on Loch Linnhe. Yeah, so, and also you can see Neptune's Ladder just outside Fort William, which is where the Caledonian Canal ends. It's got lots of lochs, as in L-O-C-H. I'm sorry, L-O-C-K. Look, we've got the Caledonian Wool Company. And we've got the Highlands Soap Company. And the Black Isle Brewery is here too. Now, they do my favourite pizzas. Of course, the Black Isle is up near Inverness, but they've got an outlet down here, House of Scotland. Now, we're coming to the main square of Fort William, and here's this amazing car. Now, this is a bronze cast of a Ford that this man, now I think his name was Henry Alexander from Edinburgh, he came up, and do you know what he did with this car? He drove it to the top of Ben Nevis and down again in 1911, and it took him 9 days. I think, yes. A Model T Ford. Oops, that was my umbrella. Yep. So this bronze Ford, he drove it. And then on the 100th anniversary, 77 crazy people carried bits of a Model T Ford up to the top again, just to honour him. And then they fundraised, and they used those parts of the car to put this one in the main square. Don't you just love the really mad people of the world who do crazy things like that and just prove that the impossible is possible? I love it. Henry Alexander, you're a star. And of course, there's so many people who do the seeming impossible. Yeah, I don't know how well the shops do in the winter here. I mean, in a way, it is an attractive place to come for winter sports as well. There's skiing and rock climbing. There's always avalanches here. One man got out once by using his mobile phone to alert people. Amazing. And there's a Highland cinema here too. Hamnet was on today. I don't know whether any of you have been to see Hamnet. It is worth seeing. And here's the West Highland Museum, which I spent a couple of hours in. Really, one man had written, his son had sort of encouraged him to write the story of his war after he did his commando training. And it took him 30 years to write it up, but it was really, it was just typed and sort of stapled together. It was brilliant. Oh, Wormgard, you were here 25 years ago. Yes, I imagine it has developed quite a lot since then. And, oops, just down the stairs, my umbrella has fallen over. But up, let me see, up here, there is a hill, which I thought about climbing earlier, but I didn't have time, called Cow Hill. And apparently the views from there are brilliant. Anyway, how are you all doing at not being the confusion and the chaos? Eileen talks about it again this week, not being the confusion and the chaos. But this time she says, just notice the wonder and the beauty of the world and refuse to see the worst in people. Do you know, I remember saying that last year. Refuse to see the worst in people, and the worst in things, and the worst in situations. Just refuse to see it. And she says, just concentrate on the very best in people and things and situations. And she said, we're not hiding our heads in the sand if we do that. We're just concentrating on the very best. That's what we're here to do. So now I'm looking back up the main street, which looks quite festive with the lights on. Eileen also talks today about forgetting the self and finding joy in service. Yeah, it's interesting how we all can fit some service into our lives. Whether it's just people around us or global things that we are supporting. Remember last week's Angel of Support. Yeah, you can sort of see, you can see up the hill now, those beautiful, lovely stone gabled houses. There's a whole line of them along the shorefront that have been turned into bed and breakfasts. Oh gosh, look at all the pigeons up there, all cooing away. They're all coming to join each other. And the asset transfer at the park is carrying on. There's a meeting on Monday night of Eco Village Findhorn Community Benefit Society. And we'll be voting soon on probably Eco Village Findhorn taking over the west side of the runway as well, which is where the community centre was, and Clearwater and Westwood and Legacy. But lots of details to be worked out about how to make it all financially viable. Yeah, it's always interesting to see the shops. It is for me too. Look, McGillivray's, how do you pronounce that? McGillivray's Provisions. Yes, Hamnet the movie. Worth seeing, actually. Worth seeing. I mean, it's all conjecture, of course, but, you know, they really portray Shakespeare's wife in a very interesting way. I enjoyed it. And you get to see the Globe Theatre as well, with people all dressed up in their Elizabethan garb. Oh, and I also wanted to bring you up to date with David Spangler, who has been going through a cancer journey, and he now is in total remission. He's 81 now, and he wrote a piece, I don't know, some of you might get his newsletter, and he talked about when he was going through his chemotherapy, he had a t-shirt made which said "Choose Joy," and he wore that every time he went to the hospital. And some people said to him, "Thank you for reminding me." Look, I'm just looking over to the Loch there and out to the very cloudy hills. And he says, I have a great respect for David Spangler. He says, although it may seem strange and even bold, given all the challenges that humanity is facing right now, I am positive about the future. From an inner standpoint, I've never felt the spiritual and angelic forces closer to our incarnate world than they are now, opening the doors to co-creative possibilities that were only dreamed of last century. It's clear to me that while the collective energy fields of humanity are currently in turmoil like a churning river, the overall planetary state is much more open and pliable than 100 years ago. Now that is really interesting that he uses the word pliable, because last week when I was quoting the Marginalian, where I don't know whether it was Forster or Maria Popova herself saying, it is during phase transitions that the system is most pliant. The world would not exist without these discomposing transitions, where things seem to fall apart, but underneath, co-creative things are happening. I think that's wonderful. So David just says things during these times are more pliable. And then from a completely different direction, the system is most pliant at these times. Yeah, isn't it amazing? Very synchronicitous. And look, you can see the hill up there behind the town. I really love this church. Got some scaffolding on the tower, but very beautiful old church, and there's something about old gravestones, isn't there? I'm almost at the end of the main street. My left hand is quite cold, but it is lovely to just check in with you all and hear how you're all having these minus degrees and snow, and to see so little snow here. This is a lovely entrance way. Isn't it lovely? Very lovely. Yeah, so I just wonder, for those of you who are in the Northern Hemisphere, how much the winter is inviting you inward. And those lovelies down there in the Southern Hemisphere who watch the recording, hello to you. I hope you're enjoying this look at a wintry but not so snowy Fort William. The skiers will be disappointed, but up in the Cairngorms there's lots of snow, so people are really happy with that. Anyway, I'm just wondering if I can go down and get another view of Loch Linnhe for you. Well, I haven't got the gloves with me that I can use with my phone, that's the problem. But look, yeah. Here we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I was going to, as I said earlier, I was wanting to show you mountains and rivers, but the weather is not conducive. Anyway, this was lots of fun too. I just felt like getting away and having a change of scene and doing some not too strenuous hiking, just some light hiking. And so I'm just coming down here now to the waterfront. I don't actually know whether I can get across the road up here, but we'll at least see some hills too before we depart company. And I hope you're all well. Yeah. I don't think I can get across. But you can see the hills are close, but the real hills are behind, and I can't show you those. All I can show you is the back of the buildings of the main street, which is not very lovely. We'll climb up on this fence to say farewell. Here we go. Yeah, so it's 4:30 and it's still light enough. And you can see the sky is lovely, lovely, lovely. And up here over there there is some snow, very patchy. Yeah, yes, thanks Peggy. I hope you enjoyed it. It was quite fun. And now I might go off and have my goat's cheese pizza. And hope... you might have all left by now, but anyway, I lost signal. Oh, it's nice when I'm places where you've been and you feel, you recognise it. Oh, thanks Tom, thanks Marie. Yeah, good wishes to everybody. May you go well in the next week. And set intentions, if that feels like the right thing to do for you at the moment. Yes, intention. My intention actually at the moment is to be still and open and to wait for clarity. No unguided impetuosities on the horizon. Smiling at that. All right, well, with this last view of the hills, I wish you well and have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week at 4 o'clock. Mwah! Bye for now.